Hello Exiles, this is Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming and welcome to another Path of Exile video. In today's video I'm going to talk about how to level a Spectral Shield Throw Gladiator, which I've done on solo self-found. I'm switching over to solo self-found temporarily because I just think it'll be more fun and I want to do some beginner focused content. However, I feel like a lot of my stuff on Trade League is just focused on how to make a lot of currency. And I want to go back to the basics, get some people who don't know how to get into all the maps and make all the currency that way, a little bone here to get thrown to them. So I'm going to go over how I got this character started, why it's so powerful, and yeah, just the whole leveling process. So start off as a Duelist, Gladiator. First skill you're going to want to pick up is Splitting Steel. Splitting Steel is very powerful. It has a built-in impale and it's got AoE clear in it. It takes a little bit to get used to because you actually have to use Call of Steel with it regularly to make sure that you have your AoE and have a little bit of extra damage. But once you get used to clearing with it and killing with it, it's very, very powerful. You'll also want to buy for 1 Wisdom Scroll Shield Crush. You may switch over to Shield Crush before you get Spectral Shield Throw at level 28 from defeating Gravicious, but you might end up not doing that. It kind of depends, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. But to start with, you want a 3-link, which is going to be Splitting Steel with Chance to Bleed and Maim. Maim is going to give you another more damage multiplier, and that is going to be gotten right before Brutus, so once you get to the prison. Also, you'll want to pick up War Banner, which you'll get just from the Breaking the Eggs quest. War Banner will give you some accuracy, which is nice, as well as increased nearby enemies take increased physical damage, and you're going to be skilling increased physical damage. Outside of that, you just want to look for a sword or an axe, the highest one you can. So like once you get to level 5 and there's a copper sword, you grab that. Preferably you get some with some physical damage on it, but if not, that's fine. Just get the highest base ones you can, and then like a saber or a better axe, one of those ones. You get that, and basically Splitting Steel will carry you for quite a while. Once you get to Act 2, you're going to pick up some new stuff. So first of all, in Act 2 you have access to a couple of different base types of shields, a Cedar Tower Shield and a Copper Tower Shield starting at level 24. So 17 for Cedar Tower Shield and level 24 for Copper Tower Shield. Watch out for those. If you can get some well-rolled ones with some armor rolls, magic or rare ones, you may want to switch over to Shield Crush. If you're unable to do that, then you'll probably just stick with Splitting Steel. But yeah, you'll want to have the same kind of setup, Chance to Bleed and Maim to start with, and you'll want to make sure that you pick up in Act 2 Vicious Projectiles, which is very, very powerful for Spectral Shield Throw. You'll need it later. You're not going to use it right now, but you'll definitely want that later on. And once you defeat Brutus in Act 1, you'll also want to make sure you get Shield Charge, which is something I forgot to mention. Shield Charge does a lot of damage. I actually use it for clearing with Culling Strike, Swift Affliction, and Fortify in the low-level maps that I'm in right now, because the bleed explosions from Gladiator that I'll explain later make it so you can just charge through things and the whole pack will explode basically, without having to use your single target skill. But yeah, you want to make sure you get Vicious Projectiles in Act 2. I also got Culling Strikes. You can pick up Melee Physical, but it will be temporary. And I believe that's pretty much it. You can also get Cruelty, which is quite strong as well, just as a temporary setup on top of that. So once you have all that, you'll go through Act 2. If you can buy, if you're in Trade League, and you either drop or can buy a Lycosidae, then you can switch over to Shield Crush because it's got enough armor that the damage is going to scale really well. So you want to get that going. And then once you get to Act 3, first thing you want to do is pick up a 4-link and temporarily set whatever you need to do to set that up. So if you have to use melee physical as your 4th link up until you defeat Gravicious, that is fine. Once you do hit level 28 and defeat Gravicious, you'll get Spectral Shield Throw. And Spectral Shield Throw is going to be basically your main skill for single target for most of the game. Let's see, that will be somewhere around here. Ooh, way down here. Okay, Spectral Shield Throw, and as you can see, it scales extremely powerfully with armor and evasion on your shield, and it has a natural chain, it has some extra projectiles that fire off. Very, very, very strong, and very high base damage as well. So basically it's about 2/3 of a similar spell with the innate base damage, with an extra 4 to 5 and eventually later on an extra 6 to 8 per 15 armor or evasion. So this is going to scale very, very, very well, and is probably you know, a lot of people consider it one of the better skills this league. So you get that. And what I currently have set up is Spectral Shield Throw, Maim, Swift Affliction, Vicious Projectiles. So you'll probably have Spectral Shield Throw, Vicious Projectiles, and Maim to start with. I believe Swift Affliction actually comes, yeah, it comes from the library quest, so you'll need a chance orb to pick that up, or you might just be able to pick it up. That'll help with your bleeds. You can just use Chance to Bleed still as well prior to getting that. Chance to Bleed still pretty strong. And just use that as your 4-link. And it'll be quite strong. You'll be able to clear things. You'll notice the bosses go down. You'll also want to make sure you pick up Vulnerability. You'll use this on tougher enemies. You'll throw your shield at them, and then you're basically looking for the highest armor, evasion, or combination of the two that you can get. Usually it's a little bit easier to get high armor shields, so around that point you'll probably still be looking towards like a copper tower shield as your main shield. A reinforced tower shield comes in at level 30, so it'll be towards the end of Act 3, and that'll be the best one you can get for quite a while, actually, probably until like the 50s as far as base types. So look for the reinforced tower shields. They have 287 base armor, and try to get some, if you get a white one, you can just throw 4 armor scraps on it, and, you know, throw some currency, maybe throw an essence or something at it to try to get something good going there. So once you do that, at the end of Act 3, you'll want to get your first Ascendancy, or in the beginning of Act 4, whichever you prefer. I usually like to grab my Golem really quick at the beginning of Act 4 before I do that, but you can grab a Golem, either the regen, so your Stone Golem, or like an Ice Golem for some more accuracy, or a Fire Golem if you want more damage. Any of those are fine. And then go complete Lab. You'll get Blood in the Eyes first. That'll give you a chance to bleed 50%, which is very high. It'll give you Maim on hit, chance to blind against bleeding enemies, and yeah, of course, the Maim extra damage. And most importantly, it'll get you closer to Gratuitous Violence, which I'll talk about in a little bit. As far as the skill tree goes, you'll want to make sure that you're heading through and getting a lot of this good stuff down here. You can pick up Mana Flows early on if you'd like. Splitting Steel doesn't have much of a mana problem, but if you use Shield Crush, you're probably going to need to pick up Mana Flows like right away, because Shield Crush has a very high mana cost and is quite obnoxious to level with. So if you do decide to, in Act 2, switch over to that, pick up Mana Flows. Otherwise, just with Splitting Steel, you can probably ignore that. Go straight through to Master of the Arena, get Defiance, and then head down. And I picked up all of these right away, so I went straight through Golem's Blood, and then picked up Retaliation, Gladiatorial Combat, and Testudo. Those are very strong. Once you have your first Ascendancy, you can go up and get Bloodletting. Bloodletting is very good. And then I headed up to grab like Veteran Soldier and Relentless, and then over to Vanquisher, and finally up and got like Tireless and Sanctuary. So for that, that's pretty much. Oh, and you do actually, you might need some dexterity. So going over, first of all, Command of Steel is very powerful. I should have mentioned that earlier. You want to get Command of Steel very early as well. So maybe once you get Defiance, you head over to Command of Steel before going down here, because it will give you a lot of extra damage based on your block chance, basically 1-to-1 with your block chance. So currently I have like 60% block chance or something, so this is worth 60% damage plus a bunch of defensive utility on top of that for 3 points, which is quite nice. So it's like 20% plus some defensive utility per node, so very, very strong. I also went over through Precise Interception and Weapon Artistry, which gives you a little bit of extra block and stuff there, and so we can get Herbalism. That's not a super high priority, but if you're struggling for dex, go this way first because it gives you a lot of dexterity going this way, not only from the travel nodes but also from Finesse and Weapon Artistry, and then from the little node here. So a couple little nodes on top of that. So if you're struggling for dexterity, go that way first for gear, and that is pretty much the skill tree. I'm going to get Cluster Duelist from here. But yeah, second Ascendancy, Gratuitous Violence. Keep looking for upgrades on your shield. Best ways to do that are through the, currently it's through ROG, I think. But you can also just check your regular vendors and see if they have a shield. And if they do have a shield, you can just craft on it. So for a while, you can probably also use evasion based shields, but they fall off a little bit more in terms of the maximum amount of evasion you can get versus the maximum amount of armor you can get. For instance, the top armor you can get is 632, and that is from a Colossal Tower Shield. But if you go to evasion and look at that, you can only get up to 440 from a lacquered buckler, so it's a lot weaker overall. Armor is going to scale your damage much higher eventually. So one thing to keep in mind, you can drop your chance to bleed gem at some point and still have 100%. All you need to do is get any weapon at all that has the attacks have 25% chance to cause bleeding and then increase damage while bleeding. So you'll want to look out for a weapon for that. So just like identify all of your one-handed weapons, and as soon as you get one of those, throw that on. Otherwise, you can just kind of use it as a stack stick. If you get like damage over time multiplier, I have some random stuff in here. So I got this one that had damage over time multiplier, so I just used that. Plus I had socketed gems and I just threw my auras in there. Auras, by the way, you're going to want to make sure you pick up Pride in Act 3. And I'm actually using Precision, which I got in Act 1 as well. If you don't want to worry about accuracy, just pick up Resolute Technique. It's not that big of a deal. It's just 2 points from where you're traveling anyway, because Vanquisher is very strong, and you get some damage over time multiplier stuff on the way to that as well. So yeah, just take the 2 points, put them in Resolute Technique, don't worry about accuracy. That can work as well. But if you don't want to do that, that's just fine. But yeah, make sure your weapon is kind of irrelevant once you get Spectral Shield Throw. Other than that, you just want to look for life and resistances, all your normal stuff, as you continue to level throughout the acts. Keep trying to get better shields. Once I beat Kitava very easily with an 800 armor shield, so I would say that's pretty much all you need. You could probably get away with it with a little difficulty with like a 600 or 700 armor shield, but yeah, once you get to that point, you're absolutely fine, and just wait until like you're in your 70s to try to upgrade to a new one, because the highest level requirement, or the Colossal Shield, which has the highest base armor, is level 67 to drop. So kind of wait on that. I guess you can farm that in certain parts of the end game or early end game. So you can't farm it in Desecrated Chamber. I guess you would have to farm it from Kitava himself. So if you want to like farm Kitava or farm in the ossuary, which is something you could do as well, and look for a Colossal Tower Shield if you don't feel like you're ready for Kitava. You can do that, and then once again just throw armor scraps on it, and you can, like, you know, use Elks on it or something. If you're delving already or have fossils already, which is possible but kind of unlikely, you can use dense fossils on your Colossal Tower Shield, but I'd save those for later until you can get like item level 83 or 86 Colossal Tower Shields. So, but yeah, that's pretty much how you level. I got Painforged as my 3rd Ascendancy once you're in Act 10. Basically, as soon as I get to the Desecrated Chamber and beat the boss there, I just go and get my 3rd Ascendancy usually. So once you've gotten there, go get your 3rd Ascendancy, get Painforged, and the final one will be Versatile Combatant, which will give you spell block equal to your regular shield block. And that's pretty much all of the basic stuff you need to get at least into white maps. And I am going to have for my next video how to progress through early maps. So I hope you enjoyed this explanation on how to level your Spectral Shield Throw Gladiator without any help, without having to buy anything. Very, very simple, very fun character. Would highly recommend. Yeah, that's it. So I'll see you next time. This has been Ryan from Behind Eyes Gaming, and bye.